Alrighty, yo, what is going on everybody? It's your boy Mr. DDG94 back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to The Wild Thornberrys was way ahead of its time. Do y'all remember The Wild Thornberrys? I remember The Wild Thornberrys. I remember Nigel. Nigel was my favorite character. That was my favorite character. But anyway, so let's get right into this.
So invigorating!
Yes, dear, but do watch your step.
Oh, you needn't be concerned. I feel like I've become one with the rock.
Nigel, are you all right?
Of course, dear. It's just pain.
So, the Wild Thornberrys legitimately changed the game for animation back in the late 90s and early 2000s. But not how you may think, actually. No, the animation wasn't anything too special, but what was special was the fact that they were able to educate you on a lot of interesting facts about animals, as well as certain life lessons that didn't feel like they were shoehorned in or overtly obvious, all while keeping the show very entertaining and engaging for audiences. The show followed an 11-year-old girl named Eliza, who lived probably one of the most interesting family lives in cartoons at the time. Her father and mother were these famous nature show hosts who traveled the world documenting these really cool and various species of animals, very much so like a crocodile hunter. And a little tidbit, Nigel, the father, is voiced by Tim Curry, so...
Apparently, the mosquitoes don't find you tasty, my boy. But unfortunately, they've always considered me a delicacy.
That's pretty cool. And because of this, Eliza gets to travel the world with her sister Debbie, her wild boy adopted brother Donnie, and of course, her pet monkey and best friend, Darwin. But here's the catch, and probably one you may have not seen coming, I'm sure of it, Eliza can speak to animals. Any animal. She just can't tell anyone, or she loses the ability to do so. This show was awesome, just like Zoo Books, if Zoo Books were as awesome as the commercial made them out to be.
When you
Facts.
call and use your credit card,
Facts. I remember Zoo Books, bruh. They used to make that shit seem so cool. Then I finally saw one of them. I finally saw them motherfuckers in a Walmart. Remember when Walmart used to y'all remember when Walmart used to have like a whole section dedicated to magazines? They had all the sports and they had all the sports magazines in the front. Then they had the kid magazines in the middle, and then they had the adult ones. They had the adult ones. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Them Playboys that you couldn't touch. You couldn't touch them Playboys. They put them all the way up at the top shelf at the end. I remember one time I saw two kids trying to grab them. I was looking through the WWE magazines and shit, right? So I was looking through the WWE magazines. You know what I'm saying? I was checking out the WWE magazines because that's the only time I got to look at them was when they was in Walmart. So I go through Walmart, I look through the magazines, go through the Slam, look around, try to see if I can smash the poster up out. And you wasn't a real one unless you tried to steal the posters out them basketball magazines. Everybody was trying to steal the poster out the basketball magazine. It was always a poster in there. I got two. I managed to steal like 2 posters. No, 3 actually. I stole a Steve Nash one. I stole an Allen Iverson one. And I stole one with Kobe, and I stole one that had like Kobe. I'm trying to think, who was it? Oh, the Kobe and Jason Kidd was Kobe was guarding Jason Kidd. It was a poster, so yeah, I stole them. I ain't afraid to admit it. I stole them. What they gonna do? Lock me up for some stealing? I ain't steal the magazine. I stole the poster off the magazine. Because the poster was always in the middle of the magazine. And you look through it, and then the poster would be right there. And you have to look. You'd be like... And you trying to hope to see that somebody ain't walking through the aisle looking at you and shit. You had to hurry up and do that shit, bruh. Put that shit in your coat pocket and walk out.
As a gift. Plus, you'll also get the colorful collection of animal stickers and the tiger poster.
I remember seeing them
The show takes the family all around the world on crazy adventures where Eliza usually gets herself wrapped up into some crazy issues related to a specific animal or two as she figures out how to get out of these conundrums she gets herself into. All at the same time, we as the audience get to learn a lot about the animals within each episode, as well as maybe some of the terrible things that can happen due to human intervention, such as
Poachers.
which are a usual theme, or sometimes even crazier like oil spills. And let's use that one as an example. There is an episode where there is an oil spill and an otter gets trapped in the circle of flames. While not only having this as the exciting climax of the episode, keeping you strapped in and glued to the TV, this is also now putting it in your head how terrible some of these things can happen in nature, and that the world may not always be this beautiful place, and sometimes terrible things happen and you have to deal with them. Now, I'm not saying you have to be like Eliza, jump on a boat and get surrounded by the fire, but for me, seeing this as a kid, seeing this in a cartoon back in the day was so powerful, and I really contribute that to who I am now as a person, my compassion and my love for animals specifically. Again, all from a show about talking animals. It didn't ever feel like I was being forced to learn anything or this was an educational program. It was exciting, but you also get to learn these lessons and get taught about these interesting animals, and this was doing it correctly. Another thing that I do want to touch on was how impressive the world building was, specifically how well they integrated it into the show. Now, of course, while they did travel the world consistently, the majority of the episodes actually take place in Africa, where it gets to show off all the interesting and varied locations within Africa and all the different amount of various wildlife that lives within Africa that's very interesting as well. And all the characters and how they lived their life in the savannah really showed off how beautiful of a place Africa is. And with all the characters there going about their lives living in the savannah really showed off how incredible Africa is. Much like a Bikini Bottom from SpongeBob, it kind of created a world that you would just want to visit and immerse yourself in. And the crazy thing is, unlike Bikini Bottom, you could actually go there. You could visit Africa and see the wonderment and how beautiful the lands are with your own eyes in person. It was a real, tangible place that you can go to. And the show showed it off so beautifully. As far as the Thornberrys themselves, they were always this weird, interesting punch. They really diverted away from the copy and paste cartoon formula that we're so used to seeing at the time. They weren't afraid to, switch things up and try something new. Nigel Thornberry was a charismatic, fun-loving, adventure-seeking host of a TV show. And while he wasn't the brightest of the bunch like most cartoon fathers are, he actually had a deep and caring side, making sure that he would always be there in a pinch to help his kids.
Oh, what is it, love?
We lost your birthday present in the swamp, then Donnie caught it, but an alligator ate it, so I pulled it out, but it's all bent up.
Honey, slow down.
Birthday? No. Eliza, my birthday. Oh, it's today. What's this? A watch? Oh, and it's attractively bent in 3 places. Oh, and it's a compass too. Oh, why, it's the most incredible, astonishing, magnificent thing I've ever seen.
Look on the back.
Happy birthday from all of us with Louvre. Oh, I Louvre you all too. Thank you so much.
And Marianne herself was a great mother, teaching her daughter some important and valuable life lessons, but similar to Nigel, sought out that same adventure for the show as well.
Run, Mom! Run!
That was you on the searchlight?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, honey. Eliza, how did you know I was out there?
Debbie, the older sister, really was just this angsty teenager who really didn't ever want to be on any of the travels. She just kind of wanted to stay in the RV, or if they ever traveled somewhere interesting, would just want to go tanning or something. Nothing to be involved with any of the adventure. She'd end up usually being pulled into the adventure, but she would join it reluctantly.
Everything we need is right here. You think so? Fine. You stay. I will. You go climb a tree.
Donnie was this adopted, or, found younger brother who only speaks in gibberish tongue.
secret.
And usually gets into his own crazy wild antics here and there. And of course, Darwin, aside from being Eliza's pet, is also Eliza's best friend, and since she travels the world, she doesn't really have any real connection to anyone else her age, so Darwin and Eliza are essentially the inseparable duo.
Eliza, it's too hot for this. Who has any energy?
Who has any energy?
And now this was a Klasky Supo production, which you probably remember seeing this at the end of the majority of Nickelodeon shows. But unlike the majority of shows by Klasky Supo, the two big series to get movies made were the Rugrats, of course, but maybe one that may surprise you, the Wild Thornberrys. And not just one movie, they got a second movie that was also a crossover with the Rugrats called Rugrats Go Wild. You literally just need to throw in some rocket power in there.
See, that's the problem. They never gave Rocket Power, they just do, man. They never gave Rocket Power their movie, though. That's what I'm saying, though. Come on, man. Rocket Power never got they shine, bruh. That's why, man, Rocket Power never got they shine, bruh, for real.
Maybe some ads told by Ginger, and we got ourselves the end game of the early 2000s Nickelodeon. The first movie followed Eliza hanging out with some cheetahs. A baby cheetah cub is taken by some poachers. She tries to rescue the cheetah, fails. They think that she needs discipline. They send her off to a boarding school.
It is perfectly obvious that Elizabeth has no regard for her own safety. We have discussed this for years. She needs to be in a structured environment. One such as a boarding school back in London.
In London, she escapes it to go find the poachers. At one point, Debbie gets kidnapped and threatened to be, axed off.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Eliza has to give up her powers by telling her secret. It's a pretty, no pun intended, wild movie.
I can talk to animals.
The second Thornberrys movie, which is also the third Rugrats movie, saw the Thornberrys on the same island as the Rugrats crew after they end up washing upon the shore after escaping a sinking ship that they were just on. Jeez, these were kids' films, may I remind you. Anyway, the Pickles family dog Spike is there too. He runs into Eliza in the forest. He can now talk to her. He is now voiced by
Bruce Willis as Spike. I am so grateful. I don't know whether to give you a big kiss or just slobber all over you from top to bottom.
A kiss would be fine.
Living in weird times.
Who wants a tongue bath?
On a different part of the island, Nigel actually runs into the Rugrats babies who have ventured off by themselves into the forest. But as soon as he finds them, he falls down a cliff, gets hit in the head with a coconut, has amnesia, and now starts acting like a baby.
She called me Mister. Silly Billy. I'm only this many years old. Do any of you remember where I left my tricycle?
Again, this movie was also pretty wild. You know what I'm gonna say. Now, if anything, the Wild Thornberrys showed not just us, but to Nickelodeon itself that actually teaching something fascinating and sometimes important facts about animals, as well as what it means to be human, can be done, and made in a way that doesn't feel like you're being force-fed something. It felt genuinely interesting with each and every episode. But let me know what you think. Did you grow up with the Wild Thornberrys, and what were some of your favorite episodes? I'd love to know. Let me know all of that down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, press subscribe, and click the little bell.
Alright, that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. Wild Thornberrys, man. It was a good cartoon, don't get me wrong. It was a good cartoon. Like I said, Nigel was my favorite character. Out the whole show, Nigel was my favorite character. But, yeah, they really should have gave Rocket Power their own movie, too, man. Rocket Power deserved their own movie. But anyways, that's just going to about do it for this one. I'll see you on the next video. Till then, peace out.